What's going on, everyone? My name is Chris. I have a junk removal business in South Florida and Palm Beach County specifically. I am heading into my second year of business, and I wanted to just kind of go over a little bit of my background and how I was able to start my business with practically nothing. And even to this day, I have very little overhead. So it's a little bit of an alternative if you don't have the available funds for it. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there in case anyone else is kind of struggling with, maybe starting a business like that and think that, I don't have the available money for it. There's solutions to it. So just a quick little background. I have been a professional mover for about 4 to 5 years now. I've worked for two major companies down here. One of them had junk removal. The other one, which is my current, that I work part-time at, is just moving. And I kind of always noticed at the first company that, these junk jobs are doing, they're charging $4, $6, $8, $900 a job, and it's like, it's stuff that I move every single day, but on a smaller scale. You don't have to worry about it getting damaged, and a lot of it, it's like I could have done that damn job myself. So, um, it was always in like the back of my head, I guess, to kind of think, this would be like an easy job to do because moving, you need a lot of insurance. You have to have guys trained. You need to just be ready for it because you're in control of everything. You have to be mindful of the people's items, make sure they don't get damaged, their property doesn't get damaged. Once you put stuff on the truck, now your truck's a liability, so that needs proper coverage, and that's just a hellstorm of insurance, and it's just something I just never wanted to get into because I've seen the good and bad of moving, and when it's bad, it gets bad. And if you're a mover, But the junk removal, it just always seems so easy to me. You go in, you grab stuff, you pull it out. Just try not to bang up the house too much. And you're on your way. After that, it's free game. You go dump it, you bring it to the donation site, you go scrap it. Maybe if it's nice, you try to sell it, make some side money. Whatever the case, it's easy work. Compared to moving. So I was doing a long distance haul to Maryland one day for the moving company, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to give this a shot. So on my way back for 8 hours, I was thinking about it all in my head. When I got to the hotel, I plotted it all down on my phone, did some quick research. Got back the next week, I was already getting things ready to go. It's super simple to start. Legally, which is your biggest priority. You need to register it with the state. You need to make sure your name and your logo don't interflict. They don't conflict too much with any other companies. Otherwise, you could probably get sued later down the road for kind of conflict of interest or trademark, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You need to get an EIN with the IRS. You need to label your business as a LLC or sole proprietorship or partnership, whatever you want to do. I personally have an LLC. And the reason I chose that is if anything happens with the business on the legal side, let's say you get sued or you go bankrupt, it doesn't affect me personally, right? It stays on the business. So I found that to be super reassuring because I think that's a big fear that a lot of people have is, well, what if I get business and I get sued and, my whole life goes to crap? And it's like, well, it's not always the case. So there are ways around it. Each type has its pros and cons, so Google, types of businesses and read up on each one, see which one would be best for you, and, go forward with it. And then you just need a website. They're like $20 a month. You can use GoDaddy, WordPress, Wix, and there's tutorials on YouTube telling you how to do it. You need insurance. You have to have insurance if you're going to be a legally operating business. I've heard good things about the Next Insurance that you see the ads for all the time. I personally got insurance through an agent I know that does all my insurances and my brother's business's insurance. I think it's like $578 a year, which is like $53 a month. And that gives me general liability of like $2 million and $1 million for the other portion of it. But that kind of just insures me for general needs and property damage and stuff like that. So it's really not that much if you think about it, right? That's a phone bill for some people. Actually, it's less than a phone bill for most people. Um, and then, you know, realistically, that could be all you really need for bills. And I'll kind of give you an idea of that. So, I have a Hyundai Elantra. Okay, that's not something you can really put junk in. I can fit some things in there because I know how to maneuver stuff, but there's only so much you can do. All right, I don't have a trailer. I don't have a pickup truck. I don't have a dump truck. I don't have anything junk related other than moving equipment. So the reason I kind of went with that was I wanted to start the business because I was getting tired of moving, but I didn't have 10, 15, 20 grand to go drop on a truck. And especially nowadays, you're not going to find a good truck for less than 20 grand. I promise you that, unless you get really, really lucky. Junk trucks brand new are like $60,000, $80,000, just crazy. Even a used one's like 25, 30, and you're already looking at 100 something thousand miles. You can get a used box truck from anywhere from like 12 to 25 grand, but then you're running into possible maintenance issues early on. So I personally use U-Hauls. I started that from day one. I'm in one right now. You can't tell this is a U-Haul. There's no labeling. But I'm in a U-Haul right now. And that may sound inconvenient to some, but if you look at it from my point of view, granted, I have a U-Haul 0.8 miles away from where I live, so it's super convenient for me time-wise. But they're one of the most versatile companies in the country. There are U-Hauls everywhere, unless you live out in the middle of nowhere, which at that point, junk removal may not be your best bet if you're not going to be able to get a lot of clientele to carry over your volume. But let's assume that you're in a decent populated area. I guarantee you there's a U-Haul or something similar of the sort where you can get a box truck, a trailer, a pickup truck, a cargo van, whatever, and rent it for the day. And I kind of give you an idea of why this was so beneficial for me in the beginning. There would be times where my phone wouldn't ring for a week, maybe a week and a half, or maybe it would ring, but I just wouldn't book a job. Some days or some months are slow, even in the moving business. And if I were to have a truck where, let's say I'm paying $1,000 a month for it, right? That's $33 a day. If I didn't have a job for the whole week, guess what? I just spent, $225, $250 on a truck that I don't have, or that I'm not using, and that adds up big time. That's my overhead and bills for 2.5 months. So I just kind of found it to be a little bit more ideal when you don't have a lot to start with. I only got a truck on the days I used it, which means I was guaranteed to not only come out ahead, but at least break even, worst case. You don't have to worry about maintenance and repairs, which is big with trucks. The only thing you're paying for is the base insurance if you choose to accept it, which is like $10-14. You're paying for mileage, which is like 99 cents to 118 with inflation. It's like 69 cents if you get a pickup truck or a cargo van. And then you're just paying for gas to refuel it, which honestly, they get the same amount of gas mileage as any other freaking truck out there. But as far as like types go, they have pickup trucks, they have trailers, they have cargo vans, they have a 10-foot, 15-foot, 20-foot, 26-foot. Depending on your location, they may have a 14 and a 17-foot truck. I personally use a 15-foot truck, and I treat it as if I have 1.5 junk trucks. So down here, the average full truck price is about $600, and it's about 450 cubic feet. The truck I use is 764, so I treat it like a truck and a half. So if someone fills up my truck, it's closer to $899, and I let them know about that too. And I haven't had any issues. So it's just something I found to be super convenient, right? And so people know that I'm just not some random U-Haul. I know it's not a lot, but I got magnets off of Vistaprint, set them on the side. They're nice looking magnets. They say my business, my services, and my phone number. It also helps when you're going to gates. They can just kind of look down and say, okay, go ahead. And then I also made these little signs that I'll stick out by the truck, kind of like a cone, but it has all my information on it. So when neighbors are coming out or people are passing by, they can see the sign and kind of get an idea of who I am. Aside from the truck deal, equipment wise, I personally had like professional grade equipment I've just acquired over the time, like dollies and hand trucks and stuff like that. But you can go buy, a little dinky dolly for 20 to 50 bucks. You can get a little dinky four-wheeler that will get the job done for the most part for 20 bucks at Home Depot. If you have one in your area, Harbor Freight is really good with stuff like that. Otherwise, Home Depot, even Walmart has stuff like that. And you can start small and simple, and as you grow, reinvest into your business, buy better equipment, buy more efficient dollies or things that handle more bulk items. I use speed packs, which is this giant box that's like 4 feet by 3 feet, and you can fill it up with miscellaneous stuff, put it on a dolly, and just roll it away. Put it right in the truck. You can also use like the U-line carts or something for the miscellaneous stuff. But other than that, use your hands. Hire a buddy or a coworker when you have the bigger pieces. If you don't have the dollies, go buy some carpenter bags. They're like $10 for like 30 bags. And then charge a client $2 a bag. Make your money back, and use that to fill up the low stuff. Go chuck it in the truck. So there's always ways of getting around it. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive. There's alternatives out there. If you don't have a U-Haul near you, there's Budget, there's Penske, there's Ryder. If you don't have any of that around you, heck, see if you have a buddy or a family member that has a pickup truck they're not using every day. Maybe you can rent it from them. Say, hey, I'll give you, 30, 40 bucks a day if you let me borrow this, and I'll refill the gas. If I cause any damage, I'll get it fixed, right? And then just be mindful with it. Load up just the bed. Don't go too crazy. And just, there's things to do to work around it, just like any business. You don't have to start off with everything in the world. You don't have to be the most professional person out there. You don't have to be a businessman right off the back. It's stuff you learn as you go. I didn't know anything about business. A lot of my family are business owners. I don't know anything about business. I just knew what I knew from moving, and I'm a good mover, and I'm good with customers, and I'm good with the meticulous details of the contracts and stuff. So I know a little bit of how to carry my own when things go south. But it's all stuff you can learn on your own. YouTube, Google, search things up. So hopefully this is just something that kind of helps you if you're kind of on the edge about starting it. I know some people will see the U-Haul and think that's not feasible, and I understand. I'd say the biggest con about it is you don't have your name on the side of the truck. When you drive around, it's a giant billboard, right? Everyone sees you. So aside from that, just reinvest in yourself. Do whatever you have to do. Put money away. Save it. Don't just take all the money out. Don't spend it on stuff you don't need. Keep it in the business. Get to the point where you can buy a truck. You have your name on it. Maybe get a second guy to work with you part-time, full-time. And just grow the business. The more you get your name out there, the more, you'll get repeat customers, you'll get referrals, word of mouth, and that's huge. You can advertise on Google, you can do Craigslist, you can do Facebook, Facebook has ads. I go on the city's groups, and just anyone that ever says anything about junk removing, I comment. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with junk removal, you could say, someone's like, oh, I'm moving into so-and-so, I need a homeowner's insurance. I may throw out someone if I know them, and then I'll comment below and say, by the way, if you need any junk removal, leave your number. And I've gotten plenty of jobs doing that. So, it's something that you may not be booming your first year, especially if you have a competition around you. I have everybody around me. I have all of the biggest names in the country, in my city, not even my county, just my city. And then there's like 50 or 80 other small guys out there. And then you got your like 30 guys on Craigslist that charge $100 to take a whole truckload. And they're not licensed, they're not insured, so they're only doing like houses and stuff. They're not going to get into a building. But you got to kind of just accept the fact that at the beginning you're just a piece of the pie. You're not going to get the whole thing, but there's money to be made. and you can do this as a side hustle and make an extra 10, 15, 20 grand a year, and build it to the point where you're making that in a month. You don't have to be making it every day. You don't have to be, phone ringing nonstop. Just reinvest in your business, save, budget the same way you would in your personal life, and just, let it grow. Take your time. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to work for it. You have to find ways to get your name out there, how to get business, how to keep business. But it's all something that you can learn. It doesn't cost a fortune, right? And that's, I think, what a lot of people are afraid of. And if it doesn't work out, stop your insurance the same way you would stop anything else. Cancel your website. If you have equipment, you're just like, you know what, I'm done with it. Sell the equipment online. Sell your dolly for $20. So, and then you just start off with something new, or you go back to work. It's not the end of the world. But, hopefully this kind of helps anyone else out that's a little on edge. I know in the beginning I was kind of iffy about it because I was like, there's no way I could afford a truck right now. So I just kind of thought of a different compromise, and I've been doing it I started in January 1st, 2021, and I'm in my second year now, and, I'm still keeping consistent. I'll be getting a truck a little later this year, but, I chose to take the solar route. I'm not trying to just, go right to this, full edge, just, it can be done, is what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't take everything in the world. And there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help you. It's not like a snarky business. A lot of people are okay about it. So hopefully it helps somebody. If you have any questions about anything I've done, let them know, comment it below. If you're also a startup, or maybe you've been doing it for a couple of years, comment down any tips so that other people see it. But hopefully this helps at least one person. Thank you.